Everyone to the Odd Taxi Anime Club. We're going to be spoiling everything to do with Odd Taxi. So you've been warned. If you have not watched Odd Taxi, you should probably leave. Come back. So just giving everyone on the streams a fair warning. But yeah, I definitely think Odd Taxi's a specific series that I think the majority of people are going to struggle to get through, because it, like we mentioned before the stream started, it's a slow burn. You know, it takes 4-5 episodes to really pick up and get its footing going. But I mean, there's a lot of scenes where it's just Otokawa just driving someone around. And it feels... I really like the artistic choice that they made, where it's not sped up, it's slow. There's moments of silence. It feels like a real taxi ride or an Uber ride. If you ever been in one, that's kind of what it feels like. It's like, oh, okay. And I really appreciate that about the series. I think it adds a whole lot, surprisingly. It's just like... I mentioned Quentin Tarantino before. Yeah, it makes the intense moments really good. I do feel like this is kind of a Quentin Tarantino-esque anime. There's probably some Quentin Tarantino inspirations, I would assume. Maybe the sub didn't have it sound over each other. I didn't notice anything in the sub, so yeah, I can't speak on that. You said that the dub maybe have some people speaking over each other, but sub-wise, I didn't notice the dialogue was really snappy. The dialogue is quite snappy. It did feel that way, especially with the two comedians. It was very quick. Sometimes it was a little difficult to read some of their stuff. And I won't lie, I watched the second to last episode in 2x speed to be able to finish the last episode at normal speed to be able to watch it for this event, because I am a bad host and I didn't watch it ahead of time because I'm a bad person. But beside the point, it was tough at 2x speed. And I know a lot of people watch things at 2x speed, which does not make sense to me. No, I can't. If it's did I watch the movie? I thought about watching the movie, but yeah, I looked at it and was like, yeah, it's Odd Taxi in the Woods or something like that. I'll pull it up. I believe it only has like 30 minutes of extra time. It's like a reshuffling, I guess. And what happens after the end of the anime? Ah, okay. I assume there was some other stuff based on that at the end of the anime. I did not watch that, and I will watch that. A bunch of people are complaining in the Mal comments. Can we give an overall rating? Absolutely. What would you guys rate Odd Taxi, the anime? I think like 8.5 is kind of what I was feeling. Like an 8.5. 9, I think that's fair. I definitely think that it's going to have a large variety. So it has an 8.69. Nice. On my anime list. It's pushed me to a 9.5. Nice. 7 because rise when I finish it. Watching, give it 8.5. So it's a general consensus that I think most people here enjoyed it. I think if you finish the series, I think most people would really enjoy it. But it's if you finish the series. I think a good chunk of people just wouldn't be able to, or just wouldn't have the patience to do so. I'm not gonna lie, if I watched just the three, so if I was doing my normal thing where I watch the first 3 episodes of an anime and then kind of I plan on doing YouTube videos about that, beside the point. And then I try to decide if I'm going to watch it or drop it. I think I would continue, but it wouldn't be like clear cut at episode 3 because it's still in its very slow phase. Yeah, the first 3, yeah, we're really slow, and you're like, okay, what's kind of going on? But the payoff of the first 3, like in hindsight, I'm like, okay, I understand why they chose to do the first 3 or 4 episodes the way they did. It makes sense. Yes, it paid off phenomenally, I think. Yeah, no, it definitely goes from like a very slow series. The first, it take a while, but I do intend on finishing. Fair. Yeah, I'd say the first 4 or 5 are very slow, kind of painfully slow at times. Yeah, no, it definitely. Then there's like a middle section where it's like I'd consider like normal speed, and then like the last 2 or 3 episodes are very fast, but not, I wouldn't say in a bad way. Yeah, it's like a house fire where it's like, okay, it's kind of localized to one room, and you're like, okay, all right, and then it slowly starts picking up other flammable material. Then eventually you have a couple rooms, then those couple rooms turn into an entire house, and then that entire house turns into an entire block on fire really quick. Yes. Once all the groundwork is laid through the first half of the series, with, you know, all the taxi rides, getting to understand the characters, their motivation, their relationships, as soon as those are established, then the creators are like, okay, everyone knows what everyone's goals are, who they are, everything like that. Gas pedal. Let's just floor it. I think it's great. I think they did a phenomenal job. Who did this? OLM. Interesting series. Same people who did Summertime Rendering. Okay, I like these people. Fun fact, Summertime Rendering is my 7th favorite anime. It's phenomenal. It feels kind of like this, but superior, in my opinion. Beside the point. How did I feel about Yano's rhymes in the sub? They were a little hard. So I had to read the subtitles differently. So instead of just like hearing the voice and then reading the subtitles, I had to like hear the voice and hear the rhythm he was speaking and read at the same time. It took a couple seams. They were cheesy in the dub. They're probably cheesy in the dub or the sub as well. Let's be honest. I just can't understand them, so they're not as cheesy. So I don't know what he's saying, but they were very. I thought about going to the dub or just like looking it up on YouTube just to see what the dub raps were. Yes. He is doing, yeah. So I have listened to a few Japanese rappers, and that is kind of I think Korean rappers also sound that way, where it's more rhythmic, I would say. I could be wrong on that terminology. I'm not well versed in the Asian rap scene, but that's what it seems like to me. Where it's like a little more rhythmic and less about the wordplay. but I also don't understand what he's saying. So there might be intense wordplay. I just can't understand it. But the sub was a little difficult, but I got used to it after a scene or two of him being in there. I think if he was in the anime more, I think I would have kind of gotten sick of hearing it. But with the amount that he was in there, I don't really have a problem with it at all. Dropped it. Fair. I can definitely understand people not enjoying him. I think he's a fine side character, and it was quirky, but yeah, it was a weird choice. It was an odd choice. I'm a little, since I believe it's an anime original. If I'm correct, yeah, it's an anime original. It's an interesting choice to do in an anime, but yeah, he was a part of the series that I'm like, that could have been different if he wanted to. Like, they could have done that differently without too much changing. Yeah, the little amount that he got in there, I'm like, okay, whatever. But overall, I'm like, all right, he's fine. He's fine. What were you guys' thoughts on Otokawa, the main character? What were your thoughts? Really cool guy. I believe Yano was actually voiced by a Japanese rapper. I'm looking it up right now. Maybe. I'm on his Twitter. I can't actually tell. His name's Meteor. Beside the point. I agree. I really, really liked Otokawa. I think he fits perfectly. Love his moments with the nurse. Yes, those were adorable. Yeah, no, I definitely think Otokawa carried. I think he really carried the anime itself. I think with a slightly more interested character, yes. Personality and mannerisms really kind of carried everything else that was going on in the series. It was just very interesting to see him seem super nonchalant, not caring about anything, and then put this entire scheme together. It's just like, oh, interesting. Otokawa's voice is the same as Tanjiro? Am I losing my mind? So I was like, I know I've heard that voice before. Yes, he is very versatile because he's kind of Otokawa's kind of a blank slate where the side casts' personality and mannerisms really got to shine against his sort of blank slate. And I just found it very refreshing. Because I feel like a lot of very popular anime have... Oh, he's also... Otokawa's voice actor also does the voice of the main character of Summertime Rendering. Interesting. But is the swordsmith dude really? Oh, interesting. I think his voice was really good. I think it matches his character perfectly. You're right. It is the same guy as the Swordsmith Village, the Swordsmith guy. Interesting. I'm not a big dub watcher, so I'm on his VA page. Fair. I'm on two screens, so I got the Discord on one for the stream, and then I'm doing stuff on the other to look up things that I'm saying to make sure I'm giving accurate information. But yeah, no, I think Otokawa was great. It was really refreshing as a main character, where yes, he's driving the plot along, but it's like everything's happening around him, and he's just like the rock. He's like a rock in a whirlpool, rock in a Raging River? I don't know. However you want to say that. I'll let you decide. But I also think that the side cast was super solid. Who was everyone's favorite side character? That's really tough for me. That's really tough to pick one side character that I enjoyed the most. Or my favorite. Yeah. I do think Dubu or Dobu. Yeah. I think that would be my favorite. I think. I also liked Goriki. Yeah, yep, same. Exactly. I really like Goriki. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I thought he was great. There's honestly no side characters that I didn't really like all that much. Like Yano, we already talked about his rapping was a little... I don't know if necessary is the right word, but, you know. Yes. Yeah. No. I definitely think Kakihana. Yeah, I would agree. He was kind of annoying, and I'm just like, he's just so dumb. He was just so dumb. And not like an adorable type of way, like the young Daimon was. Like, the young Daimon's kind of cute dumb. Kakihana was just kind of like, it's like, what are you doing, man? How you're like 47 and you're like, or 40 something. You're like, man, this 18-year-old girl, she really likes me. And she's like, stop. I have a friend that's like 35 and he's like, yeah, midlife. Yes. It's a midlife crisis. He like ruins his life. Like, that was kind of hard to watch. Like, you're taking all these loans, man. You gotta calm down. Kenshiro Daimon, is that young Daimon or that's a big boy? That's a older Daimon, right? I believe so. Yes. Younger brother? Think of the Tanaka trying to kill Otakawa. I think Tanaka, that's the guy who was trying to kill Otakawa for nearly running him over. I think that is... I didn't have an issue with him, but I do feel like he matches... I think the Japanese audience would relate to him more in a lot of ways. He did feel a little on the nose. I do agree. But from my understanding, there's a bad Japanese work culture, which he seemed to be part of, and then found one escape, and then had that escape taken away, and just lost his mind, was kind of the way that I kind of saw that. Yes, I mean, gacha games are still really huge over here, but definitely in Korea, China, Japan, gacha games are insane over there. That's why you get most of the gacha games that we get over here in the West are from Korea, Japan, not so much China, but I'm sure there's probably some, but it's usually Korea or Japan. Like, think of Genshin Impact, or man, there's any mobile game is probably from, if it's a gacha thing, it's probably from Japan or Korea. So yeah, it did feel a little on the nose, I will agree. But I personally didn't have an issue with it. The only person I had an issue with was probably Yano, with the rapping. I was like, okay, let's get him off the screen, please. And then Kakihana was just kind of old and annoying. It's like, dude, she's 18. You gotta relax. Gotta relax. But that, I don't know. I just feel like everyone seemed like okay with that. Yes, Kakihana was super frustrating to watch. And I don't know if it's going to be less frustrating for like a Japanese person to watch that. So I don't know what their particular, to me, I've seen older men, like, so their idol scene is mainly young women, and I've seen older men be like super fans and not be super ashamed of that. So it might be different, like crushing on really young girls. I mean, I think people in the West still do it. Beside the point. Yeah, no, I do agree. I was rooting for him early on, and then as time went on, I was like, oh, please stop. Please stop destroying your life. And then I'm glad he was saved. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm very, very happy that he turned out okay. And then he switched his job from a janitor to like manual labor and stuff. So I'm like, okay, he's working hard. He's trying to get his life around. Okay. All right. I'm proud of him. I'm just glad that everything turned out okay, at least in the anime. I still have to watch the like 30 minutes of extra content from the movie. But as far as everyone in the anime, everything turned out well, pretty much. So I'm like, okay, all right. Whew. But the twist was crazy. I was very, there was like, so for a good twist, in my opinion, they have to sprinkle little bits of information. Yes, time to talk about the twist. You got to sprinkle little bits of information that when the twist happens, you can look back on and be like, oh, okay. It's like not a single person mentioned anything about anyone's. Yeah, it's so crazy. No one mentioned anything about being an animal. Like the entire series, no one said anything except for Okikawa. He's the only person that said anything. And I think he only said things once to Shirakawa. I was like, you're the only alpaca. And he might have mentioned it to one other person, but like nothing else really. It was pretty crazy. I was like, oh, okay. He was drawing animals. Oh, true, he was. So to me, the big thing that stuck out was the comedy group being called the Homo sapiens. And I was like, okay, we've never seen anything. It's not like called the humans. It's called like specifically the scientific name for human. And I was like, we've never seen, are there humans in this world? So after that was revealed, like that they're called the Homo sapiens, I was waiting to see humans the entire time. I was like, okay, I thought it was like a Beastars type thing where it's like, okay, maybe that's what they call them. Or I was kind of thinking, okay, is this like, are there actual people and this is just like an island? Is all of Japan animals and the rest of the world are humans? How is this going on? And then with the entire last part of the anime, I didn't think about it once because I was so invested in this robbery plot, saving people, getting shot at type shenanigans that I didn't think about it until so I keep having to look at people's names. Never questioned it. When I started getting revealed, I was like, oh wait, they're not animals? These are people? Yes. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking about it at all, and I thought that Gariki was like actually like trying to help. And then I thought it was kind of weird when the hospital doctor was telling Gariki like this is not something that a general doctor should look at. And he's like, I'm not doing it because I'm a doctor. I'm doing it. I'm asking you as his friend. And then slowly as the reveal started happening in like the flashback, I was like, oh, oh, I see. Yeah, it was done phenomenally. I think it's a great twist. Great twist. Like this is the way that I wish that if you guys have watched Erased, I think Erased had a really really bad ending in my opinion. Like I think that who like committed the murder was super obvious through like over half the series. So for context, a murder happens and we're like trying to figure out who did it. There's like time travel and stuff, but you don't even know about that. But about episode 6, you're like, okay, I think that guy did it. And then that guy did it. And it's like, all right, well, I know this is supposed to be like a mystery series, but I kind of figured out the mystery episode 6 real quick. Like, it feels like empty. It's like, okay, this could have been so great. And I think Odd Taxi did that twist ending where it's not, okay, this is who did it, which kind of was involved in the ending with like who committed the murder on the idol person. But then it was like, oh, everything I've been watching up until this point has been through the filter of Otokawa. And this, I have not seen anything that's real. Nothing is real that I've seen. All the events actually happened, but everyone is actual people. Like, what is happening? And I don't know how this hasn't been spoiled for me. Like, how did people not talk about this I don't know. Like, I'm super glad I wasn't spoiled. I don't think I would have enjoyed the series nearly as much if I was spoiled. But like, I think that the length of the series was perfect. Everything wrapped up perfectly. I think, like, wouldn't change a thing. It's kind of like, there's so many series. That's why I like anime originals. Anime originals are my thing. I love them. Some are really bad, but some are legitimately the best anime I've ever watched. Because everyone is watching the anime at the exact same time. So there's no one who's read the source material to spoil anything. The entire community of everyone that's watching is on the exact same page and has watched the exact same material. There's nothing else going on. I just think it's a rare experience for anime fans just because the vast majority of anime are based on something else. I would say like 80% of the anime that airs each season is based on something else. Got away with the crimes. Always got away from all the crime scenes. Yeah, no, I think it is pretty crazy, but throughout the series, we only saw like 2 police officers. So it was a little surprising. It was, except for like the last scene. Last scene, there was more police. But yeah, it just does seem like not a well patrolled area at all. And I think it's in Tokyo, right? I think it's just like a very under patrolled area of Tokyo where it's like just shenanigans happen, I guess. It's just what happens. Question to anyone, someone in bloody clothes. Yeah, it was just kind of like, okay. Yeah. Dobu's just like, I do crime. in the open, I do things. Watch out. I'm a crime man. Which kind of confused me a little bit. It's like, how's everyone like, yeah, he ate the crime fruit. Yeah, it seems like it. But I did grow to really enjoy him and his character. I'm glad like he got what is coming to him, but yeah, I loved the Otakawa and Dobu scenes. I think those are my favorite scenes. I think I kind of thought they would like become friends, but I was like, please don't become friends. And then as soon as I was like lured into thinking them becoming friends, Otakawa would say something like mean and kind of off-putting to him. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like enemies to friends, and I was like, come on, Otakawa's better than this. And fun fact, he is better than this. Yeah, it does seem, from my understanding, that, this is kind of a classic Yakuza type thing where they pay off the cops, paying everybody. So I'm like, okay. It did see the nice contrast between Yano, who's kind of get your hands dirty, new school, like, I'll do it myself, I don't care who I hurt, like, I'm doing crime. And then Dobu, who's a little more calculated, where it's like, okay, I have a guy at the bank, I have two guys at the bank, I got a cop, I got this, I got people. Got people that owe me things, people on my payroll, like, I'm well connected. I'm glad there was some contrast there. It wasn't like, oh, there's two guys in this organization that are the same. It's like, okay, they are very different characters. Yes, I've paid these 18 people to allow me to steal money. Yes. And I like that Dobu was also kind of honorable when Otakawa was like, hey, write off this debt, hey, do this, hey, do that, let her free. Dobu, was a man of his word and was like, sent a text, was like, hey, you don't owe me anything anymore. I'm glad that turned out okay. Sure. Yeah. I would agree that Shirakawa did not do a huge amount for the story. I didn't mind her, but I didn't love her. She was there. She served her purpose narratively, in my opinion. But yeah, she didn't really move the plot forward in very many ways. She was a tool that was used in very few moments to move the plot forward, like with her capoeira, the dance fighting. That was used a couple times, and then her relationship with Dobu. I didn't get into what? Yes. Yeah. The rest of the cast, I did feel invested in their plot lines, except for hers. She felt like an accessory to other people's more important plot lines. Like, she was the accessory to Gariki's plot line, and she was an accessory to Dobu's plot line, but she herself didn't really have a huge plot line. It was just like that little... I don't think she really had any plot line that she was the driving force behind, now that I think about it. I think everything that she was involved in was driven by a more important character, be it Otakawa, Dobu, or Gariki. Yeah, as far as I can... Yeah, I think that's a true statement. At least for me. At least for me. Which I don't mind. I understand that there needs to be characters that, it was kind of like the Daimons. They had a little bit of their own plot line, but they're also a bigger accessory to other stuff. Kind of wish the comedy duo had more importance to the plot. Yeah, they didn't really have that much importance to the plot. It was kind of like a subplot that kind of got intertwined with other plots. We did spend a disproportional amount of time with them compared to their importance, I would say. They probably have the fourth and fifth most screen time between, I think, Otakawa, Dobu, probably the top two, and then maybe them at 3 and 4. Maybe Gariki might have a little. I don't know. Yeah, Gariki didn't have as much as screen time as I thought. Yeah, they might be the third and fourth most screen time. Which, yeah, I would agree that I do also wish that they were a little more important. But I think they played their role fine as like accessories. Yes, they were accessories. They weren't accessories to drive other people's plots forward. They were just accessories to the actual anime itself. To me, they're like, okay, this is like it was like the B plot. So everyone else's plot was A plot, and then these people were B plot that had like a little dabble with some A plot characters. Because the anime did feel very real. I think all the characters felt real to me. Like they had their own wants and needs and priorities. And then I think what really drove that sort of feeling home was the slow moments in the taxi where there are moments of silence or just, 10-15 seconds of the taxi passenger playing on their phone or looking out the window. It was slow, but those slow moments I think really helped develop the atmosphere of the anime itself into what it was, which is very refreshing when, a lot of the more popular anime are like battle shonen where it's, a little more balls to the wall. It's kind of like if you look at One Piece, pre-time skip, there was a lot more the crew being the crew, or the Straw Hats being the Straw Hats. And I think that really helped. That's something time between islands. I do kind of miss that. I'm not going to lie. And I feel like that did a lot for the series for me in enjoyment. And now post-time skip, that kind of has dissipated a lot. Yeah, everyone felt real, yeah. Yeah, the manga can't really afford, but yeah, I do agree. And I think that's like the greatest filler. Like, just have them interact. Ooh, you wonder if Otakawa has the ability to remember people as well as he has after he healed. Ooh, I would say probably. Depends. Is it because we all know that like his power, his skill was based on his mental disorder. So I think right now I would say no, but I think you could get back to that point once he starts recovering more and getting used to seeing everyone as humans again. I get how it might have been affected. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm not sneezing. I'm confident in my lack of sneezes. Yeah, okay, cool. I am a liar. I apologize. I apologize. The mystery person in the... Yeah, no, I didn't find that weird that the person in the other room turned out to be just like a normal cat. That was kind of interesting to me. It does make sense. But I was just like, oh, okay, all right. Did he see the cat as a person like anyone else? That's the question. Is that part of his condition where he saw the cat as a human, like on the same level? Maybe he thought it. Yeah, maybe he thought it wasn't the cat. Wonder why he was so casual while being hiding a person. I assumed that was kind of the cat just walked in to his place, and he's just kind of like, well, I didn't put you here. Whatever. That's kind of my thoughts. Yeah, no, they did. In hindsight, they did lay little breadcrumbs. Little tiny breadcrumbs of the twist, which I think makes for a really good twist. Because laughed it off because he does kind of look gorilla-like, like in human form. So he's like, haha, you're telling a joke. It's funny. But then to us, it's like, oh yeah, he's just saying you look like a human. Oh, that, would be kind of a smarty pants sort of comment that Otakawa would make. Yes. Yeah, little tiny breadcrumbs that kind of led us off the path to thinking there was something going on. Which I do think this is one of the better twists that I've seen in anime. Finished My Home Hero. I am back a couple episodes. I would recommend watching My Home Hero if you want something that's like crime thrillery. Yeah, I think I'm one or two away from the end. Excuse me. My fiance's been sick, so she doesn't like to read subtitles when she's sick. So we've just been watching South Park. So I haven't watched anime with her, and I think I'm watching all my seasonal anime with her. So I was like, I'm back like 2 episodes. Yeah, Otakawa is a really good like S tier main character. I think he fit this story perfectly. I think that, like we were saying earlier, that it's like he's kind of like a blank slate that allows the supporting cast that are a little more vibrant to really shine. I'm gonna sneeze. I keep thinking I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe I just need to drink some water. Maybe. I don't know. Delicious agua. Perfectly crafted. Yes. Which, can we figure out? So, OLM did the anime, but I wonder who... Is there someone who wrote it, like, specifically? Someone is talking about you a little. What? Yes. Yes, he was a different type of main character. He was a straight man, but also drove the plot a lot more in hindsight than at first. Kazu, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Drove the plot. See what I did there? Haha. It looks like he wrote the movie, but I assume he also wrote the actual anime itself. But on IMDb, he's listed as writing the movie. But let me check my anime list. I don't know why I didn't check that first. He did write the script. And looks like he's only wrote that. I would love to see some other stuff. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. I thought people were talking trash. So, the name right here, Kazuya Konomato, wrote the script for Odd Taxi and the screenplay for Odd Taxi in the Woods, according to my anime list. There does look to be a manga. I would assume it's the same exact story. It started publishing a few months before. But it looks like it's not been scored by any users on my anime list. Only a little under 1,500 people even have it on their my anime list as anything, like wanting to read or anything, compared to the 390,000 anime members. Drive home, so be off for a few minutes. All right, well, drive safe. I don't know how much longer we'll be here. If anyone else wants to discuss anything else about Odd Taxi, feel free to bring it up now. But I think we've kind of covered most of it, if not all of it. So I'll give you guys a moment to see if there's anything else. If not, it's totally fine. It feels kind of weird talking to myself. So I don't know if Saiga has watched Odd Taxi. So if there's anything you want to say to him, he might watch it. He might have already watched it. I'm not sure. But he might watch this at some point. So if you want to thank him, say anything to him, feel free to do that as well. Otherwise, I think we've been on for, what is it, about 50 minutes. So it's been a solid thing for like a 13. Okay, I do have a question. Would you guys rather have 2 weeks to watch a 12, 13 episode anime, or 4 weeks to watch a 25-ish episode anime? Do you guys have any preference? It's about the same episodes per day time frame. But Saiga and I kind of discussed that we would do the first couple anime clubs being smaller anime, prefer shorter anime. Okay. We do a first couple ones where we do just watch same. I do the same. I would probably, if it was a 25 episode anime, I'd probably have to start a little earlier. But I try to have it as fresh in my mind as possible. Okay. So we might do, I don't know. I mean, do you guys have any suggestions for the next anime club? Here, I'll end the stream. So if you guys are watching the stream, thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. If you would like to join the anime club discussions in the future, feel free to do so. There's going to be a link to the description for this particular Discord. Check out SaigaRunner on YouTube, TikTok, mainly TikTok, but also YouTube. I think he has a Twitter. I don't think he uses it very often, but you can check that out as well. But mainly TikTok. So